Alright, I'm late with this because I have been pinned down by fatigue, demotivation, and depression, but I'm gonna try my utmost to get this out before Tokyo Game Show. If I do, cool. If I don't, oh well. Anyways, my prediction board is in dire need of an update given the information SNK gave to us at Gamescom. SNK announced that there are 17 characters on the base roster and 5 DLCs in the Season 1 pass. I'm not gonna worry too much about predicting the DLCs right now. In terms of the base roster, I have 23 on my board, so I overshot it by 6. And looking at the board, everyone on the front row is 100% safe. In the second row, 3 characters are 100% safe. Mai, Billy, and Kevin. Everyone else still has a great chance of getting in due to different hints and teases. Joe was hinted at in the promotional poster, Andy was hinted in the same poster, Kine, that is so weird to say, was hinted at in another promotional poster and in the EVO 2023 trailer. Maru and Gato were both also hinted at in the EVO 2023 trailer. So obviously, the cuts are gonna come from the back row. So, we gotta cut 6 characters. Right off the bat, I'm comfortable with cutting Kim Sun's out of this prediction. I'm sure I'm not the first to point this out, but I actually think they may be DLC, and I point to the fact that the first 2 characters in the DLC pass will be released around the same time. That could possibly be them, seeing that most people feel this is a pair of characters that are inseparable. Now, on the other hand, just to give a slight example to counter that, one could argue that Kazuki and Sogetsu from Samsho are like that, but they were not packaged in the same season. So I just wanted to point that out, but ultimately I do think that the 2 characters that are being released around the same time will be Kim Sun, so let's just move them off the board, because right now, like I said, I am not too dead set on predicting the DLC, even though we might stumble into that. And before anybody comes at me, well, technically, no. Just because SNK forcibly packaged the Season 1 DLC into the version that most people are going to buy, I do not count them as base roster. They're DLC. Moving along. The next cut from the board is going to be Rick Stroud, who, even though I said I wasn't going to focus on it, I did say we were going to stumble into it, but I think he'll likely be DLC. SNK has to know how many people want him, and they'll know that they'll happily pay for him. We haven't seen him in a minute. They're probably not going to use him in a future KOF game, so this is the time right here. So he's going to be a DLC character, I'll bet. Also, as much as it pains me, I have to cut the possible new character out of this. I do think at this point it's just going to be Preacha and Vox Reaper, really, which I guess that's fine, you know. Again, I was always hoping for Dolvik to get into the game, but who knows? Maybe somewhere down the line, who knows, but there just goes that. And the final 2 cuts that I'll make to the board are Yamazaki and Blue Mary. As I said in the previous prediction video, I had the slight feeling that SNK was going to pull a KOF 14 and make these 2 DLC again. I personally would not want it this way, but obviously SNK is just going to milk this at this point, unless they shock us with something down the line. If they pull this, which again they haven't really pointed at anything hinting that Yamazaki might be main roster, this is going to be the 3rd straight SNK fighting game that he's been a DLC character in. The 3rd, just saying. And Mary had a chance of eluding the DLC curse and actually made it onto KOF 15's main roster with the secret agent team, but it seems more like they're going to demote her there. That's just how I feel. Do I want it that way? No. I personally think that Freeman has the best chance of getting in over anyone in the back row. Now, granted, we haven't seen anything directly hinting at him. Like, the most we've heard is a mention in Kevin's bio. This does kind of bother me a bit because now I'm thinking about the whole amusement park stage mystery, which at this point, I got nothing. After they showed that RPG mode, I'm convinced that there might be more stages or they might be repurposed for other reasons. Hence why I'm not really revisiting the little logic dive that I did in this video where I'm talking about the stages that were shown in the EVO 2023 trailer. Like I said, I'm just drawing a blank there. Again, as somebody mentioned, perhaps some of these stages may come into play when it comes to the RPG mode. It was the reveal of that kind of made me change my stance on the stages. Like, I don't think this amusement park stage is Freeman's, and I also am 50-50 on the idea that I saw somebody else mention where they said that this stage is not going to be linked to a particular character. But like I said, for the time being, I'm just gonna put the whole stage thing to the side now. So yeah, with that being said, with those 6 character cuts, that's pretty much my roster at this point. Kind of. Because of course, I know this is a little bit weird for a prediction video, and I don't think I've done this with any others, but we've got to talk about the bomb that SNK dropped recently. And in case you didn't know, here you go. Yeah, so in some form or capacity, Cristiano C7 Ronaldo is going to be involved with Fatal Fury's City of the Wolves. Now, I'm not gonna front at all. I don't know the first thing about football, American football, and the other sport known as football. I know in this case we're talking about soccer as they call it over here, but if there's anything that I'm most definitely into, it's research, which I did once I saw this announcement. Now, I have heard of Ronaldo in passing, and the inference that I made is I've heard his name so much even though I am not really into the sport, so he has to be a top guy in this sport, which he is. Time magazine put him on a list of the 100 most influential people in the world in 2014. He's the world's highest paid athlete as it was recorded in 2016, 2017, 2023 by Forbes, and was considered the most famous athlete by ESPN from 2016 on down to 2019. He has an insane amount of followers across all matters of social media and has won many awards and honors. So yeah, even if you're not into the sport like I am, this guy is a big freaking deal and a really good get for SNK. This could definitely be someone who could draw some attention to City of the Wolves, which once again, I'm gonna say it again, when it comes to the past couple of SNK fighting games, Fatal Fury City of the Wolves continues to be the most ambitious thing that SNK has put out in a while, or at least in this case is building towards. It's not out yet, even though some of you out there have been fortunate enough to actually try it, whether you're going to Tokyo Game Show or any other event where the game has been. And I'm glad to hear about this, but ultimately, in the case of just the roster, there still lies what exactly is the role he's gonna play. I've seen some people compare or liken this to the fact they had LeBron James in a game like Multiversus, so maybe he might be a playable character. I don't know about that. I wouldn't be against it. I mean, if you can make anything look cool, I'll be alright with it, and anything that can get eyeballs on the product is a plus in my book. Right now, I don't have any prediction as to what role Ronaldo will play in City of the Wolves, but I will say this though. I do think that he has fulfilled one thing that SNK has said about the game that I have been curious about for the longest of time. And that, of course, brings us back to SNK saying, amongst the characters that are going to be in this game, there are going to be those that are going to make us say, oh. Because looking at a lot of the reactions that I have seen to this announcement, this was definitely an oh moment. But again, as I said, I don't really have a prediction as to what his role is going to be, though I do think it was worth noting because this was too huge to ignore. But that's all I got for this one. Let me know what you all think. Do you by chance have an idea of what his role might be? Playable character, voicing a playable character, some type of cameo, guest announcer, whatever it might be. Like, those are just some ideas that I had. Drop a comment below, and until next time, I am the Chris Lotus, signing off. You all take care of yourselves, be safe out there, be cool to each other, and stay cool by staying hydrated out there in the heat. And pretty much daily, even if it's not hot. Stay hydrated. See ya.